Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Science with me, Grey Remnant. This is a series that I've wanted to do for quite some time now, but I haven't really gotten around to it. But now that I have a little bit of free time, I'm totally going to do it. This is going to be a series about science. I don't know how you could have guessed that, besides the fact that that's the title of the show. Today is actually a marginally special day, because it is my birthday. Yay! Birthday! Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I'm turning 25 today, which means I am now officially an old fart. Enough about that. Let's get on to the science. Oh, but first I have to issue a warm congratulations to my good friend Tech Zero, who won the Penthouse Suite competition. And I would like to point out that I called this just like last time. Yes, this was me 2 weeks ago saying Tech Zero has it in the bag, and I was right. But today on Science with me, Grey Remnant, we are going to be talking about the secret ethereal nature of life. What does that mean, you might ask? That's a mouthful of words that you may not be familiar with. Well, I'm going to start each of these episodes with a question, and we'll see if you can answer said question correctly, and if you can't, I will explain to you why you are oh so wrong. My question is this. If I were to ask you, what percent of the human body, or more specifically your body, is empty space, meaning a vacuum, nothingness? What percent of your body is empty space? What is your answer? Now, when I ask people this, their answer is normally 50% because it's a smart thing to say, because 50 is right smack dab in the middle of the spectrum of possible answers. So you're guaranteed to be closest to it, to the correct answer. But ironically, 50% is still pretty far from the correct answer, because the correct answer is 99.999999999%. Now, when I tell that to people, typically, they don't believe me. And rightfully so. It's an incredibly insane thing to say, that that's the human body, and most matter in the universe, all matter on Earth, is 99.9999999% empty space. Why? That's a good question. That is a very, very good question, and one with a good answer, which I will now attempt to articulate in words. It really lies in the structure of atoms. What is an atom, you might ask? Oh, good God, we need to get back to the basics if you don't know what an atom is. An atom is the basic building blocks of all matter. Most matter, I should take that back. Not everything in the universe is made of atoms. There are some things that do not qualify. We will get to that later. But most things, including you, are made of atoms, which are these circular things. Just think of them as golf balls for now, except that they're very, very small. All molecules in your body are made of atoms, and all of your cells are made of molecules. And every single one of your organs is made of specialized cells, therefore you are made of atoms, just like everything else on this planet. The reason that you're 99.9999999% empty space is not because you have a big, vacuous hole in your belly, or something. I mean, if you haven't eaten anything, maybe, I don't know, I'm not going to presume anything about whether or not you're anorexic. Not important. But no, it's due to the fact that atoms are 99.99999% empty space. Now, whenever a science textbook draws a picture of an atom, they show this thing right here. You're all familiar with this. This is completely wrong. This is not what an atom looks like. Cross that off immediately. Just exit out. It's no. That's not what an atom looks like. But first, before we move any deeper into this, I'd like to explain the structure of this thing right here, this atom. An atom is made of a nucleus and an electron shell. Okay, so the nucleus is made of protons and neutrons. For all intents and purposes, let's just pretend that the protons and the neutrons are solid matter. 100% solid, let's just pretend that. It's not true, but for simplicity's sake, it is 100% solid matter. And then on the outside, on the periphery, you've got the electron shell, which is just electrons moving at a speed so fast that they occupy the entire shell simultaneously. That's way too deep. But it's true. Everything in between the densely packed nucleus and the electron shell is empty space. There's nothing there. It's completely empty. It's a vacuum. Okay? It's like space. The problem with this drawing is the distance between the nucleus and the electron shell, which is wrong. A science textbook would have you believe that the distance between the nucleus, which for all intents and purposes we will pretend is my fist, my clenched fist is the nucleus, they would have you believe that the electron shell is like a foot away from my fist. In reality, if the nucleus were the size of my fist, the electron shell would be 5 miles that way. Or that way. In any direction. 5 miles. It's like a town, basically. And that is the secret. Is that the nucleus and the electron shell are separated by a near infinite span of nothingness. And that is why you are 99.99999% empty space, because your body is made out of different tissues. Your tissues are made of cells, your cells are made of proteins, the proteins are made of molecules, and the molecules are made of atoms. And because atoms are 99.99999% empty space, that means that you are as well. And this pen, same rules, it's made of atoms. I know, you're surprised. You thought this was made of some kind of primordial metal that is made of mana. If you wanted a scientific textbook to illustrate accurately, instead of looking like this, it would look something like this. Now, I know all you see are the electrons, and the reason why is because the nucleus is so small in this image that it's microscopic. That's why they can't illustrate atoms accurately, because then you couldn't show people the nice nucleus, because it would be too small to see, unless you supplied a microscope with the textbooks, which would turn an $80 textbook into a $2,500 textbook. But yes, this is the true nature of atoms, and it's the true nature of you. You are mostly nothing. You are made up of units that are mostly nothing. In fact, an atom is more a unit of energy than it is a unit of matter, as you well know, because atoms are what's used to set off an atomic bomb. Now, interestingly about an atomic bomb, I'd like to point out, an atomic explosion does not result from splitting an atom. Splitting an atom does virtually nothing. It lets out a little bit of energy, like a little... It's not even... You wouldn't even be able to detect it. A nuclear bomb happens when you split billions of atoms simultaneously. That is what sets off an atomic explosion, or maybe trillions. I'm not exactly sure what the number is. That's a discussion for another day. So yes, atoms are more a unit of energy, and therefore you are more a being of energy than you are a being of matter. You know how in sci-fi they always talk about like, oh, it's a being of pure energy from another dimension. No, we are beings of energy. That's actually us. I know. It's crazy. This is one of those science facts that got me interested in science in the beginning, at the start of time. No, this is really bizarre. One of those bizarre facts that nobody believes until you explain it, and they're like, oh, okay, well that makes sense. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that we live in a world based on 5 things: sight, taste, sound, smell, and touch. Our 5 senses. But our 5 senses don't get at the secret ethereal nature of life. Because, for instance, our sense of sight is based off light bouncing off of atoms and then entering our eye and bouncing off the back of our eye, which would be the retina. It's based on the surface of atoms. It's not based on what's inside atoms. Our eyes cannot get at that. So we can't see this secret ethereal nature because it's just not in our nature. We can't do that. Sound, that's not going to get at that. Forget it. We don't have the capacity as human beings to detect this. And so when you look at the world, you're looking at a construct. You're looking at something fake, something that's constructed by your brain to give you a general sense of where you are and what you're looking at. It's purely for evolutionary reasons, so that you can survive. But it's not the truth. The truth is far more complicated and far more interesting than that. This looks solid. It appears to be solid. But it's not. It's mostly nothing. What you're holding in your hand And for all intents and purposes, your hand also is nothing. Is nothing. It's all nothing. It's a very, very disturbing way to think about the world around you, but it's true. Now, have you ever heard of a neutron star? I thought you might, yes, a neutron star. Neutron stars are what happens when smaller stars, like our sun, implode. Larger stars go supernova and then become black holes. But smaller stars, like ours, our star is small. I don't know if you know that or not. It's pretty small for a star. Will become a neutron star. They expand and then they just go, and it becomes a neutron star. Neutron stars are very small. But neutron stars, interestingly, are far more dense than us, than anything else on the planet, than most other things in the universe. There are some exceptions. We'll get to it later. Neutron star is billions of times more dense than this pen. Why? Because it is not 99.99999% empty space. A neutron star is not like other things because it is not made of atoms. Why do you think a neutron star is called a neutron star? Can anybody guess? Oh, it's because it's made of neutrons. Remember, neutrons are that one of those little things inside the nucleus? Protons and neutrons? Neutrons are not 99.99999% empty space. It is the distance between the neutrons and the electron shell that gives it that ethereal nature. And because neutron stars are made of this plasmic neutron sludge, so to speak, it's really, really dense stuff, they are far more dense than anything here. They are one of the things in the universe that is not ethereal. That's the real deal. However, if you got close to a neutron star, you get pulled into it because the gravitational force is so strong that it's like Ant-Man. You know how Ant-Man gets smaller and his atoms condense? He'd have like the density of a neutron star if he did that, because it would be ridiculous. You can't get that small. The physics are all wrong. But, well, no, he wouldn't have the density of a neutron star. He'd have the density of like a dwarf star or something. But that's not important. Now, there is one other thing that I know of that is not 99.99999% empty space. In fact, it is 0% empty space. It is so compact that it is considered by some to be infinitely dense. What I'm speaking of is a black hole, of course. That thing right there. The black holes look like black dots. Why? Because light doesn't bounce off of a black hole. It gets sucked into it. A black hole's gravitational field is so strong, not even light can escape its grip. Not even light. And that's why black holes look like black dots, because we can't see them. Light doesn't bounce off of it, therefore, there's nothing to see. It just looks like an empty spot, which is just an illusion. Now, to the untrained eye, this black hole looks to be about the size of like a moon or something, or a planet. In fact, a black hole is a zero... I'm trying to figure out how exactly to say this. It is a null-dimensional object. It is a point. That is how small a black hole is. It is a single point. It has no dimensions. It is the smallest object you could possibly imagine. Infinitely small. That is because all of the matter that crosses over the event horizon of a black hole, the event horizon being the outside of that black circle, once you cross over the event horizon, you can't get out. Nothing can, not even light. You cross over it, you're done. You're going in the black hole. And you will get spaghettified. Yes, spaghettified. This is a real word. Look it up. I'm not making it. It's true. It's a word for getting stretched and spun around and you become like spaghetti. It's a horrible fate. I wouldn't want to. Don't ever go into a black hole. We don't know what happens in there, but I can tell you this. It's probably not pleasant. And there are some scientists who believe that time actually slows down as you approach the center of the black hole. Therefore, you could be caught in an infinite time. You could be infinitely stretched. You could be stretched out over an infinite period of time, and it might be quite painful. It is a fate worse than death. A fate worse than burning in eternal hellfire. That is scary shit, you guys. But what I'm trying to say here is that the true entity that is a black hole is a very, very, very small entity that has so much matter compressed into it that people refer to it, scientists refer to it as infinitely dense. Infinitely dense. That is a scary term. And it just keeps getting more and more dense. So yes, black holes, neutron stars, those aren't ethereal like us. We are ethereal beings. It is true. We are. And we like to think of ourselves as kind of like this sort of, and we like to think of things as these solid objects. It's easy to understand, but really, this is more complicated than your eyes would have you believe. And that is really cool. That is really cool. So, what have we learned today? What have we learned? I think that the lesson that we could take away from this is that appearances can be deceiving. This looks solid. It feels solid. It's heavy. Ooh, it's heavy. Yes. Well, if this were 100% solid matter, it would be a whole lot heavier, bitches. This would be so heavy, it would fall through your hand and get sunk to the center of the earth, and it would increase the planet's mass and increase our force of gravity. Yes, it would increase the Earth's gravitational pull if this pen were solid matter. If this were 100% solid matter. Yes, that's scary. That's very scary. So thank you very much for watching. Next week, or perhaps a month from now, because as you may or may not know, I am writing a blog for the cave hanger contest. Now, I would like to point something out before I get into that. The Underwater Wonderland contest. Do you remember that? Yeah. I predicted correctly the top 3 winners of yes, I predicted it all. I got it 100% right. Yes, I did. The Penthouse Suite contest, I predicted Tech Zero would win, and I also predicted that Block Fortress would be in the top 3, which he was. So what am I saying here? Am I saying that I have divine, supernatural foresight? Am I psychic? Yes, that is what I'm saying. I am psychic. And whoever I say will win, will win. Which means I have complete and unconditional power in predicting who's going to win the cave hanger contest. Because whoever I say will win, will win. It's been proven through science. And so I'm going to tempt fate. I am going to tempt fate, and I'm going to say that I, Grey Remnant, will win the cave hanger contest. Yes! I'm using my power to fulfill my own needs. Ha ha! In your face! But in all seriousness, I'm really trying to win the cave hanger contest. I'm working nonstop on this. Currently, I'm working on the images that will accompany the story. I'm going to be doing a video of me reading the story out loud, which will be quite enjoyable. And I'm going to be doing some bonus content as well. I am putting so much effort into this that if I lose, if I don't get first place, my brain will melt. And then there will be no more science because I won't have the capability of doing it. But I will promise you this. If I do win the cave hanger contest, which I truly hope I do, I will make a mini-series of me building the Legos. The prize for this contest is Legos. I just like to point that out. I will make a little mini Let's Build series where I will build said Legos, and it will be very humorous. Perhaps we will have a special guest appearance by Wilfred J. Pemberley. Yes, you remember him, right? Who knows? I mean, I don't know. But if I get second or third place, you also get a Lego, so it'll be like if I get second or third, it'll be 1 video. If I get first place, it'll be 4 because you get 4 things. So it'll be like a little mini series. But that I could promise you, that I will tell you, as Donald Trump would say. So yes, thank you very much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the science. I hope the science pleased you. And I will see you guys this Sunday when I'll do week in review. Provided I'm not dead by then. I'm getting pretty old. I mean, I just turned 25. You know, the average life expectancy for Americans is like, what, 70? How much time do I have left? You know? You get to this point in your life and you start thinking about those missed opportunities, what slipped through your fingers. If I could just turn back the clock, I could have done so much. What a waste. And now I'm on the brink of death. So, I don't know, I'll see you guys later. Pray for me. Pray for my health, because it could deteriorate very quickly. I will see you guys later. Goodbye.